Jesus with the wolf at peace. The forest was quiet, as though holding its breath for a mystery about to unfold. The air shimmered with twilight hues, indigo bleeding into violet, violet softening into deep shades of purple that spread across the heavens like an endless tapestry. The moon had not yet risen, and the stars were only faint whispers upon the canvas of the night, but already the world seemed bathed in a glow that was not of this earth. And there he was, Jesus, walking among the trees as if they themselves bent in reverence. His robe, woven in purity and simplicity, trailed lightly behind him, untainted by the dust of the earth. Yet it was not his garment that drew the gaze of creation, but the violet radiance that surrounded him. It flowed outward from his very being, shimmering like waves of living light, neither harsh nor fleeting, but gentle and eternal. The light touched every branch, every leaf, every stone upon the ground. Where it fell, the forest changed. Flowers unfolded though it was night, tiny blossoms shimmering with violet dew. Streams glittered with colors like molten amethyst. The air itself thickened with peace, as if heaven had descended and clothed the earth in glory. But not far off, a shadow lingered. Eyes burned with a golden fire, piercing the darkness like twin flames. A wolf, large and wild, emerged from between the trees. Its fur bristled, its muscles tense beneath its skin, and its teeth glimmered faintly as its lips curled in a low growl. The forest creatures stilled, birds held their breath, deer froze in their steps, even the crickets seemed to quiet, because the wolf carried with it the untamed power of the wild, raw and unpredictable. Yet the wolf did not charge. It stood, watching him, watching the man whose presence seemed to make the world itself bow in silence. Jesus stopped and turned, his eyes resting on the creature. There was no fear in his gaze, only recognition. Recognition not of danger, but of kinship. He raised his hand slowly, not to command, not to drive away, but to welcome. And as his hand lifted, the violet light flowed toward the wolf, washing over its form like a tide of pure love. The growl faded, the bristling fur settled, the burning fire in its eyes softened to something deeper, almost human in its ache. The wolf, so feared and mistrusted by humankind, felt for the first time the weight of being seen, not as a beast to be hunted, not as a danger to be avoided, but as a creature loved by its maker. Step by step, the wolf drew near. Each movement was hesitant, torn between instinct and longing. Its paws pressed softly into the earth, carrying its great frame toward the light. And Jesus did not move away. He simply stood, radiating violet peace, as if the very air around him had become a sanctuary. When the wolf was close enough, it lowered its head. The motion was small at first, but then it bent further, bowing in surrender. Jesus reached forward, his hand brushing the creature's fur. The touch was not one of conquest, not an act of taming or of domination. It was gentleness itself, a reminder that even the wildest heart is known and cherished by the one who formed it. The violet light deepened. It spread across the clearing until the trees themselves glowed with it, their trunks wrapped in streams of purple fire, their leaves burning like sapphire and gold. The wolf shone as though clothed in amethyst, the wildness within it transfigured into something whole and pure. In that moment, predator and prey, wild and tame, fear and peace ceased to exist as opposites. They were woven together in a unity that could only come from the divine. The disciples, who had been watching from a distance, stepped nearer, astonished. Their hearts pounded at the sight, for they had always feared wolves. To them, wolves were symbols of destruction, thieves of the flock, shadows lurking at the edge of safety. Yet here was the impossible. The wolf at rest, its golden eyes reflecting violet love. One of them whispered, "Master, even the wolf bows before you." Jesus turned his head slightly, his hand still resting on the wolf's fur. His voice, soft yet resonant, carried like a song through the clearing. "Why are you surprised? Did not the Father form the wolf as he formed the lamb? Did he not breathe life into both and call them good? Fear divides, but love restores. What you see is not the wolf tamed, but the wolf made whole." The disciples stood in silence, and in that silence, they began to understand. The wolf lifted its head, pressing gently into the hand of Jesus. Its eyes, once burning with untamed fire, now reflected a depth of trust. It circled once, then lay down at his feet, its body curled in peace, as though it had finally found rest after centuries of running. And Jesus sat beside it, the violet light enfolding them both. He leaned his head toward the wolf, and for a brief moment, there was no difference between the divine and the untamed. The two were one in the eternal embrace of love. All around, the forest seemed to breathe again. Birds sang, their voices weaving with the song of the wind. Deer stepped into the clearing, their hooves silent on the earth. Rabbits emerged from their burrows, foxes from their dens. None feared the wolf, for the wolf was no longer a terror in their midst, but a brother, resting in the radiance of the light. The heavens themselves seemed to respond. Stars pierced through the violet sky, each one burning brighter than before until the crown of the night was alive with golden and purple fire. The world above mirrored the world below, peace reigning where once there had been strife. Jesus spoke again, not only to his disciples but to all creation. In me nothing is lost. In me the broken are mended, the wild find peace, the fearful find courage, and the lost are found. Even the wolf, fierce and free, belongs within the circle of love. This is the kingdom, not one of chains and subduing, but of harmony, where all creation sings as one. The words sank deep into the forest. The wolf's tail thumped softly against the ground, as if agreeing with the truth. Night stretched on, but it was no longer dark. The violet light bathed the trees, the stones, the river, and every living thing. It was as though eternity itself had slipped into that moment, giving a glimpse of a future where lions would lie with lambs, wolves would walk beside sheep, and peace would reign unbroken. The disciples watched, their hearts swelling with wonder. For the first time, they truly saw that Jesus was not only Lord of humankind, but Lord of all creation, of beasts and birds, of land and sky, of predator and prey. His love knew no boundary. His peace knew no end. And so it was that the wolf, wild and feared, found its place beside the Prince of Peace. No longer an enemy, no longer a threat, but a testament to the transforming power of love. As dawn approached, the violet light softened into gold. Jesus rose, the wolf rising with him. Side by side, they walked deeper into the forest. The disciples followed, humbled and silent, carrying within them the memory of what they had seen. A vision of the kingdom to come, where even the untamed bows to love, and peace is the song that never ends. For they had witnessed it with their own eyes, Jesus with the wolf at peace beneath the violet light of eternity.